This is the QB Huddle Podcast, hosted by Tim Smith and Brandon Newey.
Welcome back into the QB Huddle Podcast. I'm Tim Smith. I'm joined by my podcast partner, as always, Brandon Newey.
What up, what up?
We're here to talk all things quarterbacks all season long. Brandon, we had another weird week of football, a little bit of a trap game week, it looked like. And let's start on that note because you used that word last week to describe the 49ers versus the Cleveland Browns game that we were looking at. What happened to your 49ers yesterday and what happened to poor Brock?
I called it, man. I said this was going to be a trap game, and it was. Cleveland defensively is the number one ranked defense statistically in the league right now. Um, we needed a game like this, and I say that because we've won 15 straight regular season games. Brock Purdy needed to face a little adversity, which he did. He played terrible until that 2-minute drill, right? Until that 2-minute drive, he drove us down. He put us in a position to win. Unfortunately, the kicker missed it, right? But we can't put this all on the kicker defensively, despite having 2 turnovers. The Browns rushed for 174 yards. Losing CMC, Debo, Greenlaw, and Trent Williams to minor injuries, that put us in a really bad spot, right? I think with Kyle Shanahan, when he loses 2 of his best weapons, arguably, we got a little bit more conservative. Brock really wasn't at his best, but when the game was on the line, he delivered. So even though I'll say he played terrible, he did show up when it mattered. We were 3 of 12 on third down. I told you about our third down efficiency. That was just as bad as when we played the Steelers. That's why I was a little concerned on that. But overall, I mean, this is a week-to-week season. We can't get too high, get too low. I'd rather lose early than lose late here, right? So, unfortunately, we lost, but the Eagles lost too. So I don't think that really shakes up anything. That loss is just kind of, it's over, right? Move on to the next. Outside of that, man, it was bad. We lost 17-19. We had our chances and we lost. So just got to take it.
Yeah, Brock didn't look great. I will tell you though, as a
Nope.
quarterback. I mean, not to defend him, but to give him the same kind of rope we'd give anybody. He did lose his left tackle. He's playing the arguably the number one defense in the NFL.
Sure.
He loses his number one running back, who I think has every debate as far as MVP because of how much he does for that team. And then you lose Debo Samuel, who is your number one receiver and such a big playmaker and a heartbeat of that offense, really. So
Yeah,
you
that hurts,
lose all
man.
that in a game when you're going up against a team like the Cleveland Browns. That makes it tough. So I think people are being a little hard on Brock. Obviously, he could have played better. He didn't play his best football that day, but he's still playing at a high level and put them in position to win. Put them in
Man,
position to win.
they were waiting for this. They were waiting for this. They were
People
waiting
have been
for his
waiting.
bad
People have
moment.
been
I could
waiting.
tell you so many other good quarterbacks have had these kind of games. It's just one of those games. Hey, it was downpour. You lose some of your weapons. I mean, we're not going to make excuses here because at the end of the day, we missed 2 field goals and we should have beat them by 6, but we didn't. And we allowed them to come back and play with that fire and momentum. It's crazy in the NFL, man. If you don't show up, you're going to get beat. It doesn't matter what team you play.
Yeah.
Right? Dallas, you saw that as good as a team Dallas was in the beginning. They lost to the Cardinals. As good as a team we are, we lose to the freaking Cleveland Browns, right? The Cleveland Browns. But hey, it's all right. We're moving on. Minnesota, your ass is on the clock. Good luck.
Boy.
Oh boy, I can't wait. Cousins is
They
going
beat
to
the
the
Bears yesterday, so
it might be bad for that brother. Minnesota does not play well versus us at all. And if
yeah.
you can't stop the run, it's a wrap.
I mean, the bottom line,
Kudos to Cleveland. They did their job. Kudos
you
to
weren't going to
Cleveland.
go undefeated. Anyone that's still around from the '72 Dolphins yesterday got to pop some champagne because both the undefeated teams lost yesterday, so there is no undefeated team in the NFL. And the way this season has been a week-to-week league, we expect that you're going to lose some games, and maybe some games you don't expect to lose, right? Just because
Yeah.
it has been a weird season.
I'd rather lose to a team that is arguably one of the best defensive teams that we have seen in probably since the 70s. The Browns have allowed 1,002 yards this season, the third fewest by a team through the first 5 games of the season since 1970.
Wow.
I'd rather lose that way. If that's what's going to happen, okay. Glad we don't ever have to play him again because Lamar's going to beat them again, and then they'll win the division, and we'll never have to see him. So, moving
There
on.
you go. Well, guys, we have a real exciting show today. We have a special guest that is currently in our lobby. I don't even want to say his name because it's so big, but this is a friend of Brandon that he was able to get to come on to our show. We're so lucky to have this individual, and we're going to bring him on very, very soon. So we can't wait for that. But I want to talk just for a minute. I'm in my Jets gear today. This is because the Jets beat the Eagles last night. I was running around my house so excited with every interception. I got more excited. It was a great day
They're
to be a
tough, man.
Jets hater, which I
They don't
am.
play hard.
Jets, 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 Jets. But the Cowboys have to play the Chargers tonight. I do not feel good going into this game. The way our defense has played, particularly against the pass the last 3 weeks, and now we have to go against Justin Herbert, who is one of the hottest quarterbacks in the league, been throwing the ball all over the yard. No, the Chargers haven't won a lot of games due to that defense and lack of run game, but Austin Eckler is back tonight. And with the way the Cowboys offense has been playing, I'm not sure that the Chargers defense becomes a liability. Khalil Mack, he had a big week last week, so that's a little unassuring because we don't have a running back that's really good in pass pro, and Dak has been taking a lot of hits this year. I don't feel good about tonight, Brandon. I feel like Justin Herbert and the Chargers are going to give us that work tonight. What do you think's going to happen?
Well, I think you guys actually, you might win this one. Mike McCarthy hasn't lost back to back games since he's been the Cowboys coach,
Shout out to
which is
Jacob Lattimore for giving
yeah,
us
that was a great stat line there. So yeah, I put my faith in the Cowboys. I just want to see how Dak's going to respond despite the 3 interception blowout. It's going to be a packed house full of Cowboy fans. We know the Chargers have no fans besides my boy
true.
Herb Cash.
True. It'll be a home
That's
game for
probably it. And then they have some AI people that'll fill the rest of their stands.
it's
So
so true.
outside of that, I feel the Cowboys have a great chance of not only winning but potentially a blowout.
Whew, a blowout. Boy, if they
Hey,
do that, I'll wear
it may
my.
happen.
If they do that, I'll wear my Dak Prescott jersey on the show next week.
I notice every time we beat the Cowboys, the 49ers lose the next game. So I don't want to see them anymore. We're
Yeah,
done with them.
maybe you just
We're
get
done.
too built up for America's team. Um, let's
Y'all are
move on,
non-factor.
Brandon. I'm going to let you start this, but man, we know what we do. The first segment is always who's on fire.
Yep.
Best performances of the weekend in our eyes. So for you watching the games yesterday, who was on fire?
Man, I gotta say, right now, I mean, two that really stand out to me. Um, Both tough games. They had to battle. Tua came back from a 14-point deficit, three
Yeah,
TDs, 262 yards, no picks, 67% completion, which puts them to 5-1 AFC East division leaders, not the Buffalo Bills. And then I have Jared Goff. Man, where the hell he come from? Right? He's been playing out of his mind. The guy's got some grit. Um, that whole makeup of that team is really reflective on their coach. I mean, right now they are playing lights out, and I can't even believe we're saying they're the top. They're one of the top 3 teams in the NFC and probably the league right now. I mean, they beat the Chiefs at Arrowhead, even though they had a stinker with Seattle. They could easily be sitting right now at 6-0. I mean, he put on another 300-yard game, 2 TDs, no picks. That puts him at 11 touchdowns and 3 interceptions this year. He's doing phenomenal. So shout out to Jared Goff. He is balling right now. If you can get that run game continuing to go, now Montgomery did go down,
he
right?
did.
So
Might be a problem.
it's looking a little bit of shaky. Can they put it all on Goff? I'm not sure, but stay tuned for especially the second quarter of the season. Let's see what he can do. Who do you
Uh,
have in your on fire?
I have the same exact people, and
Oh my
we
God.
did not even watch the games together yesterday. There was some texting
Nah,
going
we didn't
on
watch him. Just call it out. Facts.
in the groups, but I mean, I'll just kind of add what you said. Tua, 53% on third down yesterday. I think it would have been a little bit higher if not for the first quarter was pretty low. for the
Yeah.
Dolphins. Right, they did not play well in that first quarter, but he's been great. He has been consistently great all season long. The Dolphins look still to be the class of the East right now. Even though they lost that game to the Bills are up and down every single week. I mean,
Right.
last night rather, they couldn't do anything offensively. So man, the Dolphins look good week in, week out, outside of that one game up in Buffalo, which, you know what? As we've seen this year, things happen. It's a week to week league, and sometimes you just lay an egg and the other team, plays better than you. Now,
Yep. Got to come play.
The Bills have owned Buffalo. So, the Bills have owned Miami over the last several years. So it's really going to come down to that last game in Miami that they have to play, and then they may have to play in the playoffs. And can the Dolphins get over that Bills hump? I think
If they
that's
play in Miami, they will.
if they play Miami, yes. They play in Buffalo. I don't know.
Not gonna
My
happen.
other guy, of course, was Jared Goff. This is 2 weeks in a row for me with Jared. Now, I've never been a big Jared Goff fan, but you can't deny what he's doing right now.
Right.
He is
He's
playing from
playing
a
lights
stand.
out.
I mean, just if you look at the numbers, 56% on third down. He, like you said, he's got 11 touchdowns. I think how many interceptions? 3. Is
Think 3.
that right?
There right
So
now.
Jared Goff right now is playing right alongside of Brock Purdy, the best quarterback play we're seeing in the NFC, to me. Jared Goff has been lights out. He's not turning the ball over. He's getting his team into the end zone. He's throwing touchdowns. He's putting the game on his back, 353 yards yesterday. That's a lot of yards, right? 30 or 44, that's good completion percentage. No
I mean, he got
picks.
his receiver back too. The other kid from Alabama, he's back
Yeah.
now. And then you got
So
Reynolds and St. Brown is looking like a real
St.
good receiver,
Brown
top
was
10
incredible
receiver.
yesterday.
I would argue that. They look good, man. I think it's going to come down to Montgomery staying healthy. I think Montgomery runs that entire offense. It
They're, he's a difference maker, especially
He's
with
a
Swift
beast,
and
man.
Taylor now.
He's a beast, and then you get and then you get the other Alabama running back getting back going. He was out this week, so we'll see what happens because they're really going to have to play tough, especially against Lamar and the Ravens. And I mean, we all know the Ravens right now are probably statistically a top 3 defense. So they're going to be
Wow.
faced with a
It's
little
going to be
bit
a
of
tough one.
adversity. If they can overcome this, at least this 3-game stretch, man, they're in the driving seat of potentially being the number 1 seed in the NFC.
I
That's
feel like the
crazy for us
Lions
to even say.
I feel like they're for real. I feel like they're in a
Yeah,
division that they should win. I
sure.
feel like we will know exactly how good they are after this weekend with the game against the Ravens. I think
Right.
that's the test, right? How
All right.
good are you?
Now we give everybody praise. Who is in the garbage juice? Who is in
The
the garbage juice this week,
garbage
man?
juice. And I've been waiting on this. And
Uh-oh.
the
Here you go.
hater is down inside of me.
The
I don't
kid
like
finally loses a game, and
I
now
don't like
you're
this.
on him.
Listen, I don't like this style of offense they play. I don't like the
It
numbers this quarterback
works.
puts up. He currently has 7 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. I don't want my quarterback playing like that. That's just me. I like to throw the ball. I'm not a big fan of the running quarterback, even if you can squat 650,000 pounds. That doesn't matter to me. Jalen Hurts is in the garbage juice bucket. The Cinderella slipper finally came off his foot yesterday. They needed him to play quarterback. They needed him to sit in the pocket and throw the ball. He couldn't get it done. 28 for 45, 280, 1 TD, 3 interceptions. The last interception of the night was easily his worst throw. He stared down his receiver and still threw it into double coverage. Not sure how he didn't see the double coverage. Again, 7 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. Their wins have come by 1 possession. They're winning because of a great defense and a stout run game. Maybe the best defense in the NFC, certainly the best offensive line in the NFL. For whatever reason, yesterday they couldn't run the ball. And so they had to put the game on Jalen's shoulders. And again, like I said, he couldn't get it done. And the Jets, by the way, didn't have their number 1 corner and they didn't have their number 2 corner. So they had nothing but backups at cornerback. And still, they were able to beat the Eagles yesterday, the mighty, mighty Eagles. Die, Eagles, die. Jalen Hurts is in the garbage juice bucket. Okay, I'm done.
I knew you couldn't wait to do this. And the
Couldn't wait.
crazy
I've been
part is
waiting.
this kid is 23-2 in his last 25 regular season
Yeah, the
starts.
Eagles are
All
23 and
right.
2. Congratulations.
They're probably gonna wash you guys, so I can't wait
We'll
for
see.
your face on that one. But
We can't stop the run, so yes, they're going
despite Jalen
to
Hurts,
all
man,
over.
I get it, man. He's bound to have a bad game like that. All the quarterbacks are. Um, Jalen's not. He's far from garbage juice. But yesterday, damn brother, I can't even save you on this one. You can't throw 3 picks.
Remember, this is a
Especially
week
when you
one
have a
thing.
lead, especially when you have a
Yeah,
lead. Now, you ask him to throw over 40 times, I think you would say probably 70% of the league, maybe 80% of the league of quarterbacks can't do that and put it
that's
on your
interesting.
shoulders. So, hey,
There's only five,
he has an
maybe five.
offense that works and is extremely effective and has been dominant. You just ran into a team that I'm going to say it, man. I mean, they're going to surprise people. They're not going to lay down for you. The
They're not going
Jets are a tough team. And Zach Wilson actually played a really decent game, too. He managed not to turn the ball over against one of the top defenses, which to me, as a Niner fan, that gives me a lot of hope. Because
Zach
if I know
Wilson.
if Zach Wilson can do it, Brock Purdy's probably going to carve you up if you can't get to him.
Uh-oh.
If you can't get to him, Cleveland
Okay.
got to him. And you see what happened, right?
Yeah.
So my garbage juice bucket, you had the opportunity to go against your former team to get it done, and you dropped the ball with 3 interceptions on a road loss to the Jaguars 37-20. Damn it, Gardner Minshew. You
Oh.
had your chance. I'm
Oh.
tired of people saying, oh, Anthony Richardson's not ready. Anthony Richardson didn't turn the ball over like that. He's got to slide a little bit, but Gardner Minshew, you had your moment, brother, and you dropped the ball. I hate it for you. You're a cool dude outside of football. I love all your YouTube stuff. It's pretty freaking cool. But hey, when you had an opportunity to play against your former team, you should have stuck it to him. And Trevor Lawrence got hurt, and you still didn't win.
Wow.
Damn.
I mean, he's been playing good the last couple of weeks.
He's
We've praised
played
him on the
decent.
couch, coach.
He's played
And
decent.
now
Now
we
my
just get
next,
into him because he had one bad game. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Who's your other garbage juice?
I hate to do this because everybody that's watched this show knows I like this guy. I ride with this guy. Since college, I've liked this guy. He actually forced me to watch Oklahoma games. But Baker Mayfield yesterday, golly, it couldn't get much uglier. Now, granted, the Lions are a great
Stinker.
team. They have a great defense. They have Jared Goff is playing great on offense. They can do it all, right? I love their coach. I love the Lions. I love what they're doing. But Baker's got to play better than what he did yesterday. If you don't play better than you did yesterday, then you deserve to be in the garbage juice and be hanging out with your buddy Jalen Hurts, two Oklahoma quarterbacks hanging out together, probably watching the USC game together, going, what can we go back with Lincoln Riley because we both suck today, right? 19 for 37, 206, 0 touchdowns, and interception. That's terrible. I mean, that's terrible. Considering what we expect from you, Baker, the receivers that you're throwing the ball to, that's a terrible day.
Terrible. Now,
I don't know.
I got one more. I really had two. Because damn it, Bert Purdy almost put your ass in it. Almost did. I gotta be a realist. I've been praising you. I've been praising you for a long time. But brother, everybody has a game like that. But you did it. You made it happen when it mattered. You were close to being in the garbage juice bucket. But this other guy I got, right? He's been in the league for 12 years.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
had many wins in his career. He's another $200 million quarterback that isn't even pissing a drop right now. I got my man Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson. We
Oh,
forgot about that, right? My man had 2 TDs, only 95 yards passing. He only had 50 yards passing in the second half against the Chiefs in an 8-19 loss. You can't do that, brother. You can't do that. You're sitting at 1-5 now?
his own coach called him out.
Yeah,
After
his
the
coach
game.
called him out. Man,
That,
brother, you may need some gloves. Can you throw in the cold? Can you throw in the cold weather? Have you had enough sleep? Right? Well, where's this guy? Like, this guy looks like a deer in headlights. He put the wristband on to make the play calls a lot easier for you. And my mom's a huge Russell Wilson fan, but I got a ripper on this one. He's not getting it done. He makes too much money to only put up 8 points in a divisional game and only 95 yards. He makes too much money. And that's all these quarterbacks. I've said this.
man,
And
Richard
people think I'm
Sherman,
crazy,
Richard
right? But it's
Sherman was
cool.
running around spilling the
It's
tea.
cool. He complains, oh, he doesn't have playmakers. Oh, he complains, oh, I don't have an offensive line. You took all the money.
Yeah.
You took all the money just like you did in Seattle. You've got to step up, man. I'm a huge fan still. Can I say I'm a huge fan? I'm a huge fan of Seattle Russell.
It's
But this
over.
Russell here, I don't even know him.
I,
Where's he at?
It's over for Russell. I have him
Damn,
on.
Russ, come on, baby. I
I have
believe in
Russell
you
on my wall of
sometimes.
fame. I have Russell on my wall of fame. I'm going to have to take him down.
Nah, don't take him down, man. In Seattle, he tore us apart,
Seattle
man.
Russell was
15-3 versus the Niners. God, he was our kryptonite. But that's going to complete the garbage juice section. We're going to go into halftime. As we go into halftime, we like to talk about the couch coach. It is phenomenal right now. We're getting some great guests coming on board, especially we have another co-host, which is we finally got him to say, okay, let's do it. He's a great football mind. He really thinks outside of the box. Bernard Daniels coming on the couch coach. Phenomenal guy. He's one of my best buddies, like a brother to me. It's going to be really funny to see you and him go back and forth
Oh yeah,
about
it's gonna be, if you guys.
some of the topics that he has, because I feel he's going to give a whole different analogy to
I
it.
love Bernard. I'm gonna say that, love Bernard. He played football on the Warhawks with us, right? He's a great football player, and he does have a great mind for sure. But he does think outside of the box. He and I like
Oh
to do,
yeah.
and we like to go after it. So that's gonna be fun.
So hey guys, we appreciate every one of our listeners, even if you tune in maybe 3 minutes. We're gonna have more clips and cut ups. We're gonna do a little bit of different things to keep this audience engaged. I think we've been hitting on all levels all season, and we're leading into week 7. So go please like, share, and subscribe to the Couch Coach and the QB Huddle. Couch Coach is gonna drop potentially on a Thursday or Friday, so look out for that. It's gonna be a lot of fire, as we said. This week has been crazy. I will call it the trap week.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna call it the trap week. So after that, let's bring on our guests. This is a great buddy of mine, man. I looked up to this guy my entire high school career. He's a two-time All-American at the University of Oklahoma, two-time All Big 12 player, one of the best college receivers I've ever seen of all time. I mean, I remember going out there and watching you hang 77 with Jason White against Texas A&M, and it was absolutely hilarious. You guys balled. You guys were playing at another level. No further than my man Mark Clayton.
Yo,
MC, what's up, baby?
what's up, man? Can you hear me good?
We
Oh
can
yeah,
hear you.
yeah. You're good. I
What's up,
also
man?
mentioned, you were in the first round, 22nd overall in the '05 draft, man, to the
Talk about.
Baltimore Ravens. You see, he's
Yeah,
got his Ravens gear on, right?
I see. I see. I see.
that's
See.
just for you, Tim.
Is that
Keep it
just for
good.
me?
Tell
Uh,
him,
I want to
tell
make
him.
sure
I,
it's a big
I,
bold font.
I think there's been a miscommunication
Yes.
about exactly how I feel about the Ravens and Lamar Jackson, but we'll get into that.
Okay.
But
Well,
right
many
now, we want to talk about you. We want to talk about your histories, the quarterbacks that you've played with, because you've played with some great quarterbacks, haven't you?
yeah, man. Shoot, some guys that have overcome a lot of stuff and broke barriers in ways, and had ridiculous arm talent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. 3 Heisman Trophy winners you've played with.
that's
That's
crazy.
crazy. That's
I haven't,
crazy.
I haven't thought about that like that, but
Yeah.
yeah,
We go to Troy Smith, which was one of my favorite college players ever. I know you hate him as a Michigan fan, Tim.
Yeah, I can't like Troy
He
Smith.
was
I
that
can't get
guy,
on that
right?
team. Yeah,
right.
Then you had Jason White, who completely lit it up and made college football look so easy in that spread offense.
yeah.
Yep.
And also Sam Bradford,
And
another guy. He was a younger guy. He was around my age, and you got to play with him with the Rams, man. So talk about just your experience and playing with guys like Kyle Bowler, Eric
yeah,
McNair, Troy Smith, Joe Flacco, and Sam Bradford.
it's crazy. And I was actually a quarterback in high school, so I
Yep,
was
from Arlington.
from
Mm-hmm.
Arlington. Yeah, it was crazy going from quarterback to receiver, and then getting up there, and then Jay White. It was cool because we were on scout team together, and his freshman year he started, got injured, out for the season. Second year he started, won the starting job back, got injured, out for the season. And then that third year, going into our junior year, man, was a lot of work, and it was really cool to get on the field and have him play an entire season, and just see what he did physically, having coming off 2 ACL tears and still tear it up like he did. That was one of the best kind of journeys that I was able to be a part of and witness, and then him hold up the Heisman at the end of the season was just surreal. But
Dude, he was awesome.
yeah,
Weren't you at the Heisman ceremony too? Weren't you up for the Heisman?
no, no, we didn't. We had a little watch party.
Yeah.
That year I was at the College All American Award, the American
Yep.
Award, which was really cool down in Disney. But yeah, that was great. And then to get into the league and have my first kind of league experience with Kyle Bowler and him still trying to figure it out as a young pup in the league, and then going to my second year with Eric McNair, somebody who
Ooh,
My
buddy.
guy. That
it,
was my guy.
it makes a difference when you got a quarterback who been there, done that, and is really like a walk in the park. And in that, no matter what's happening, like Eric McNair is just like, oh, we're good. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah,
It was like the most poised, the most just a dude that nothing mattered. We shrugged
right.
anything off, and so that our second year. My second year was electric. It was the
He
best
lit
year.
it up, didn't he, with you
We
too,
did.
didn't he?
Yeah. We
Yeah.
went 13-3 that year. We had a bye. When played the Colts came to Baltimore, and that was the all field goals game.
Yeah.
Like,
So wasn't he the co-MVP with Peyton Manning that year too?
I believe,
I
yeah,
think they shared it, right?
that
I
was-
was so mad as a former Titan fan when he left. I almost cried. I was a little guy, and I was just like, "This is not happening." He's a
yeah.
really good player, man.
You was hurt. I was hurt. I was like, wait, what? He was like, my back, bro. It was like my. I was,
Oh man,
man, I
yeah. I
was-
mean, it,
Who was your favorite? Would you say? I mean, do you have a favorite quarterback that you played with? Would it be McNair or?
it would be McNair because I think it's kind of like playing with Unc, the Unc, like somebody who's older, who's been there, and just his IQ for the game, his poise, and like he taught me so much. And I'd say at the height of your game, which is playing at the NFL, you want to be able to produce in a way that puts you amongst the best receivers in the NFL. And so playing with him, I was able to really do that with him first. And so that was fun, and that made that's my guy.
that's awesome, man. He should be in the Hall of Fame, man. I appreciate every year there. His name needs to be in there. He was such a phenomenal quarterback, and if younger guys have never got a chance to see McNair play, he was one of one in my opinion, one of the toughest quarterbacks. I always call him Mississippi tough, man. And
Miss
we had another guy, from Mississippi with Robert Kent, man. And those Mississippi guys are just different with toughness, man. Him and Favre, and didn't he used to play? He used to not practice and then would play in the games, right? Didn't he just used to?
yeah, at that point, he had to
Yeah.
save that body. And then
Right?
he would take like
That's
he would take,
insane.
like on a play. Like if there was a play we needed the timing on, he'll take that rep or something like that. But he wasn't doing all that work.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
Awesome.
That makes sense.
muscle memory
So,
was there.
so, Mark, we've been debating, and you are the perfect guest for this. I mean, you got the Ravens stuff on.
Of course.
You played with the Ravens, so you're obviously close to the situation, much closer than Brandon or I could ever be. I'd like to have you assess where Lamar Jackson is right now. And when we say this, understand, and I'm going to be very clear.
Hmm.
I like Lamar Jackson. I'm a Lamar Jackson fan.
Yep.
Where the argument comes in is right now, I would say, based on his numbers, just him as an individual, I don't feel like he's playing up to Lamar Jackson's standards. I don't feel like he's playing in that top 5 echelon. Now, everyone will disagree with me because he's Lamar Jackson, and they'll say, oh, no, but he's doing this and this and this and this. But when I look at someone like a Jared Goff, someone like a Brock Purdy, even, or these guys that are putting up these big numbers, and having the game be put on their shoulders, I realize Lamar does everything for that team, much like Josh Allen does for his. But I just feel like there's something missing this year. So we'd like to get your thoughts on it and see where you stand.
Man, I think coming into this year, I was and hoping for an offense that was going to be a lot more explosive, stretch the field a little bit
Yeah,
more. Hoping that Monken was going to bring that to the table. But what I'm seeing is, I think what we're doing is trying to stay and be efficient as offense. I think we're trying to keep what Baltimore does is squeeze games, play tough defense. We're going to get down to the end and figure out a way to win. If we blow somebody out because we're getting turnovers and we're getting great field position and we can go punch that in, awesome. But I think the heart of what Baltimore does, and we're doing it with Monken differently. I'm loving some of the scheme plays that I've seen drawn up. I think we should be a little bit more creative with Zay Flowers, use him more in like a Tyreek type role.
Yes.
But I do love that we're moving the ball, and Lamar's he's dropping back quite a bit actually, and not running as much. But I think it's collective. Like the receivers, to be honest, have been okay. Like I think Zay Flowers is our saving grace. I think OBJ has been obviously he missed a game, but I think physically he's obviously not OBJ of old, and we're seeing like a receiver core that's okay. I mean, I know last week was tough to watch. 3 drop touchdowns.
right?
Andrews dropping a touchdown is like what?
That's
That was
unheard of.
weird. Yeah,
8 men
that's
dropped it like it
uncommon.
was. Yeah, it was tough. Aguilar through the hands. I mean, it was that's tough to watch. And his balls are where they need to be. Ball play. And so when I'm watching Lamar, I'm looking at ball. Where's the ball plays? Because I was tough on him first. I was like, man, he's not placing the ball where it needs to be. And now I'm seeing him do that, and we're winning games. We've lost games because we've been loose with the ball, but overall, I think Lamar has played really well. Just efficient. I know we're not, a stat pattern type team, but I think efficiency is the key for us on offense, and we're doing it a little bit more in that intermediate passing game more than we did with the Greg Roman offense.
So let me ask you a question, because the recipe that you talked about for winning for the Ravens is the same recipe that we would use for the Cowboys. If we were to win games, we need our defense to be, well, play at a very high level. We actually need the defense to get turnovers, keep the offense in plus field position, and we need our quarterback to, especially with the lack of a run game, to play just a little bit better than average, right? Be efficient and not turn the ball over. Now we're not getting that a lot, as you've seen.
Correct.
But if I have Lamar Jackson, do I want to run that type of offense, or do I expect more from my quarterback? Do I expect more from my offense? I'm not worried about efficiency as much as I am, hey, we can be efficient, but I have Lamar Jackson. We should be able to get down the field and stretch the
Right.
field in ways that we're not seeing. So are you saying that scheme
Yeah.
more than deficiency in Lamar Jackson?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you would think explosiveness. Let's be explosive plays, big
Exactly.
plays.
We're not seeing
There
that.
should be 2 to 3 40+ yard plays, or attempts, or shoot, probably 5 attempts, hoping that we hit 2 of these things.
Sure.
Big plays going down the field, of course. And then in the run game, obviously some design quarterback run that you expect Lamar to kind of make a couple guys miss, and that thing goes for 20, 30 yards, and we're getting those, here and there. But again, it comes down in the NFL. It's he's getting paid to win ball games, period, and
Fair
go
enough.
win the Super Bowl, period. And
Yeah.
I I'm not ready to totally rely on Lamar's arm. I don't think obviously they are, because his legs are a dynamic weapon. I mean, they're not Lamar like rookie year or second year, but they're
Yeah, it's a
still,
little weird.
dynamic.
Well, he's
Uh,
getting older. I mean, naturally you're going to lose something
But
as you
it's
go
like
through
he's
and you
like
get beat up. And
prancing. It looks so easy, but it's like, where is that like meow? Like the second he leaves the line of scrimmage and goes forward, it's like everybody's in slow motion.
mhm.
And I haven't seen that this year, and that's something we talked about a little bit.
Yep.
So, do you feel like he's a little more cautious of taking these hits now and not really being as explosive? Not saying he's lacking the explosiveness, but he's just trying to center himself to work within the offense. Do you think
No,
that?
no. I've seen him break a run where he's had the ability to actually open up, and what I seen was not what I seen in the past.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's weird.
what it's like to open up and get them knees up. When somebody's really chopping, and what it looks like when the DBs are just kind of staying in phase with you. They're not just catching you, but they're just kind of staying in phase.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't that. Like he's not that right now. Like he's
Hmm.
not. That's
right.
okay, because I'm like, at the end of the day, to me, the guy is Mahomes. Like
Oh,
That's true.
I
the
think
guy.
we all agree there.
Yeah, we
This
all
it's not
agree.
close.
We all agree.
And
Hey,
Not close.
how fast is he? Like is not about being that explosive. I think it's about being more. If Ravens offense, I guess, felt a little bit more Eagles last year,
yeah,
some design quarterback runs, some shots down the field, some intermediate. Then the run game is tied in. Like you have to really cover everything. Passes
Hmm.
short.
right.
If I've always felt like that would be the trajectory for a Lamar Jackson kind of elite offense, and what it would look like week in, week out. Whereas like you literally have to cover everything on the field.
Right.
Period.
You know what, Mark? You're 100% correct. And that offense that you want to see Lamar Jackson in, he actually won an MVP in that sort of offense with Greg Roman. So, it's just a different stylistic sort of thing. He can throw the ball. We know that. He's a great talent.
Yeah.
I liked your points, all fair points. I feel like I want more from Lamar Jackson. If you're gonna hold out for $260 million and not play in the playoff game when you're healthy to play because you want to get paid, then I need to see $260 million worth of production.
Right.
Don't we all from all these quarterbacks?
Yeah, you want to see 70% completion on, and
Well, he's
200,
doing that.
290, yeah,
Yeah,
300 yards a game, 290, 300 yards a game.
3 touchdowns,
In
one to
quarterback.
zero interceptions. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
So,
I get it. I get it.
so
So,
all right. Go ahead, Brandon. Go ahead.
so with all the quarterbacks you've played with, you played with 3 Heisman Trophy winners. You played with a potential Hall of Fame in Air McNair. What do you look for in your quarterback?
Man, I think the number one thing in the quarterback that I would love to have and look for is poise, the ability to handle pressure. That is monumental because at the end of the day, we all want to win games, and if you
Sure.
have a quarterback that can't do it under pressure and them pipes burst, it's all for naught. No matter you throw 500 yards a game or whatever, like it's all for naught. And so that's number one. Number two is accuracy. Obviously, somebody who's been able to place the ball where it needs to be to
Yep.
me, away from the DB, and where we practiced in the
I love
game is awesome to have that. And then a little mobility, because there's nothing like being a receiver and knowing that you can run a secondary route. Now you can play a little backyard ball when and if the pocket breaks down or he just feels like it's time to escape or whatnot. That is that is the funnest thing I think, especially as a receiver, being able to just change up. I ran my route and now he's scrambling, so I get to kind of shake him a couple other times to get open and get a ball down the field. It does so much for your offense too, and you in the receiving core because teams have to be aware of the quarterback running or the quarterback getting out of the pocket. And so that helps you on the back end also. And it also helps, your front because pass rushers have to stay in their lanes. They can't just go willy
Sure.
nilly and just with
Yeah.
reckless abandon going. And so there's a lot of advantages that come with a quarterback that's mobile in terms of, having a great passing game.
So I got a quick question for you, Mark.
That's good
I'm going to
points.
take advantage of you being here based on what you just said. So we have a really strong quarterback class in college this year, and all the talk is around Caleb Williams, right? Now, what I saw and what I've been saying, and Brandon and I have talked about this, and he somewhat agrees with me, was man, Notre Dame's going to play you an NFL style of defense. They're going to come after you. They're going to mix up coverages. They're going to play. And Caleb Wilson, you talk about pressure bust pipes.
Williams.
Williams, he kind of broke down the other night and didn't look anything like himself. Now, would you rather someone like a Caleb who's super athletic can do all these things off schedule, or how about Penix up in Washington who lights you up inside the pocket, can run if he needs to? Which guy are you taking? Because Caleb's not on he's not my number one quarterback in this year's draft class because
Yeah.
of that.
Uh
Yeah.
oh.
He that's tough. That's tough. He is flash for sure. But
Yes.
Um, man, yeah, I honestly, I take the guys who I believe have it here first. And it would be a definitely a Penix after watching that game versus
Yeah.
Oregon.
Lefty.
Fire, like
Lefty that was just
lefty,
dealing all day long.
man, versus a good Oregon team. And I think both of those teams are going to whoop SC. But
Easily.
Agreed.
yeah,
Agreed.
just like this kid is special, like he really is. And
Yeah.
at some point in that game, no, late in the game, before he got the opportunity to have the final drive, they took the ball out of his hands and try to run it in the goal line area. And I was like, "Oh, what are y'all doing?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he got a chance. They did not take it out of his hands.
Yeah.
He made a play. But yeah, a kid like that, and I just in that game, and that's what you look for. Going down the stretch, it's a tough game, it's a tight game, and these throws they got to be on point, and they were on point, and he did it. And just similar to what Dylan Gabriel did, that kind of pressure in those moments, those are the things that you really want and you look for in bringing somebody in and really having them be your franchise guy.
And it's been tough in college because there's so much flash, right, with these quarterbacks, and so much these athletes are just above everybody else. And you're playing with receivers that are better than everybody else on the other side of the ball in some of these programs, and it gives you a
Sure.
false sense of who that quarterback really is. But
Oh
then
yeah.
we see the places where the balls were being placed on Saturday versus Oregon, the ball
Hmm.
placement inside the pocket awareness. Like,
Yeah.
I thought he brought it all to the table, as does Shador Sanders. So those,
Mhm.
those are my top two
Yeah.
quarterbacks right now. And JJ McCarthy is getting into that mix because he's
He is.
poised, like you talk about. He's got all that poise.
Mm,
He
Yeah.
does.
I
You got to
don't
watch
know.
the
Like
game, bro.
quarterback from Penn State, actually.
Yeah. See, Caleb drives me crazy, and I'm a big SC fan. He drives me absolutely nuts, right? And I'm surprised you said that when you was like, I like my quarterback to run. Now I can run a secondary route. I would think that as a receiver, that would drive me crazy. Wouldn't you want to stick your foot, get upfield, balls on time, you can get to where you need to go? Like when you got a guy that's buying so much time, it really hinders that offensive line. It causes more holding calls. I've said Caleb Williams does not throw in rhythm enough for me to be convinced.
No, agreed. I agree with that because
Yeah.
a Lincoln offense is not a rhythm throw offense either.
Baker
Right.
did it.
But Baker did it.
Yeah, Baker
He was the
Baker
only one really that
Baker
could.
was killing it, man, when he was
Baker's
in
yeah
that
he
offense.
slice people up, but
Whew.
yeah, I mean, from what I'm seeing, like, and I think this too. Like in college, there's a lot of inflated numbers because you can scheme college defenses really good, and those guys they obviously
Yep.
don't all have the IQ of
Right.
the secondary of Georgia or something like that. But no, I think with that, there's the ability to do what a Caleb does or any other great offense. I'll take the top 20 offenses in college, and the majority of them are because the college defenses are not that awesome. And if you're a good offensive coordinator, you're going to scheme people up, run people through, and occupy this guy and get people open all day long.
Yeah.
And so playing or seeing that Washington Oregon, which is the latest, and last weekend Oklahoma Texas, where you just knew you had athletes on the other side, and these were going to be tight, tight coverage throws, short windows that you're going to have to be squeezing these balls in. That is where you look and you say, man, that's a good quarter. That guy's nice. He
Yeah.
has.
And you came from this specific off. Like, I wouldn't say it's the same, but you guys were like the new wave of the offenses. Like, you guys used to open up on people with a lot
Yeah,
of different play actions, quick screens, you run tunnels, also
yeah,
over routes. I mean, you guys were spreading the ball out like wildfire,
Yeah.
yeah.
right? And
Great.
so,
We
do
were
do you
American.
see a little bit of that still in college
Of
football,
course.
or do you feel it's more gimmicky right now?
Oh yeah, it's so yeah. I would say in those top 20, there's a lot more gimmick to it.
Right.
Um, I enjoyed the fact that Chuck Long came or took over for Mike Leach, and we
Mm-hmm.
became a more pro style offense than the air raid. We had some air raid principles, but there was still some kind of two tight end. We went 21 quite a bit, where we actually got to run some routes. Some
Right.
actual in routes, basic ends, comebacks, and these were timing routes. And Jay was really good at getting the ball out on time. So it was great to have that in college, and then going to the NFL and know that I'm already in that mode.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
easy to just make the leap and hop right in and pick up the offense and was able to start.
Yeah, that offense was phenomenal to watch when I was in high school, man. It was crazy to see you guys. I used to bet on you guys like, man, I bet you MC is gonna go for 130 yards and two tugs, and
Mhm.
you do it.
Let's
So I was
go.
betting back then as a little youngster. It
Man, if they had
was
college
fun to
fantasy,
watch you guys, man. It was
that's the
real
time.
fun.
College fantasy, I would have been good.
I know, right? You'd have
Pro
been,
fantasy, not
whew,
so much.
my
Well,
man would have had 40 points a game.
Pro fantasy, not so much.
It was bananas, man. So we talk a little bit about the college experience there, but we'll dive into currently right now. The top quarterbacks
Mm,
that are currently playing this season. Now, audience, we're not saying, oh, it's just the top five best. These are the quarterbacks right now, statistically, that are playing top five right now.
yep.
We're gonna start out.
What you
Who's
got?
got who? Who's first? Who do you got, Mark?
So top right now, after just freshly watching Josh Allen last night, he struck. I mean, it was a dogfight. The Giants came to play, but he made some throws that were just like, wow,
Yeah,
touchdown throw to the tight end.
that
Goodness,
was
how
incredible.
in the hell did he know? Like
That was insane.
that was sick. That
He does
was
that like 5 times a game. Like, it makes you shake your head and go, how do you do that?
sick. Yeah. But man, I'll start off with that guy. I think they found it, and that was a tough one. Obviously, it's the NFL, so it doesn't matter who you playing. Their
Sure.
games are going to be like that at times. But yeah, he was able to make plays and push them to the finish line.
Well, go ahead. Give us your top 5.
Oh,
Who are
all
you-
okay. Well, then Mahomes is still there.
Of course.
Of course.
Obviously.
Sometimes not, after all.
Yeah, yeah. Tua. I'll go
Oh,
Tua.
TT
Yeah, TT is
balling.
sharp. And then I gotta go golf. I'm putting him there because I mean, just look at Detroit
Yeah,
and whether they're running or they're throwing it, and certainly throwing. And it's not a surprise, to be honest. Golf has a history, a really good track record of playing quarterback in the NFL.
he
I don't
does.
know. I mean, he got beat up a little bit just in the trade, but dude is a baller. Um, and then I'm gonna go. Um, I'm gonna say Lamar.
We got the same top
I
5. Like,
can't
let's
put him in
go,
the- I
MC.
can't put him in the top 5.
Lamar is
I can't do it. I
All
can't
he
do it.
does is win.
Numbers aren't as good as the other guys. I feel like it would be a disservice. So I have everyone that you have: Tua, Golf, Allen, Mahomes, because that's obvious, right?
yeah,
My 5th guy, yesterday notwithstanding, outside of that final drive of the game, is Brock Purdy because of his poise, because
yeah.
of his accuracy, because of what I get it. He's got all this talent and everything. Guess what? Every quarterback that's ever won ever outside of Tom Brady has had great teams around him. Kurt Warner had the best receiver core maybe of all time around him when he won. And we talk about Kurt Warner like he's the next coming of Jesus. So let's
Montana.
just settle down a little bit.
I mean,
I'm
we
going to put Brock Purdy in that top 5 right now.
Top
I,
5.
The way he's playing, bro, his numbers are right there
You know
with
what?
everybody else. 3rd down conversion, good. Passes over 20 yards, good. Touchdown passes, good. Turnovers, good. I mean, he's got one interception, and that was yesterday. So,
Hey, I appreciate you putting my boy in there, man. That's
yeah,
love, man.
got to
Yeah.
be a realist.
Rock, we still love you,
see
man.
Dak's not in there. You see Dak's not anywhere close to that top 5 list.
Hold Dakota.
Dak? No,
Yeah.
sir.
Oh, sir, he's way back there.
Sir.
He's
Yeah.
like,
Man,
hey,
you two are both Cowboy fans. Oh,
hey, all right, Brandon. Let's
Um,
talk about matchups for this week. So, Mark, next to our last segment here, we like to
Yeah.
talk about matchups that we're looking forward to watching. Right?
Oh,
Take
yeah.
our teams out of it. Who are we looking forward to watching this weekend? I'm gonna let you go first, being the special guest. Who are you looking forward to this weekend?
2 of my top 5. Game of the week should be Detroit and Baltimore.
Yes,
It's
sir.
going to be a dogfight, man. These guys, defense, Detroit, they totally changed their identity, and I love it.
me too.
And
Yeah.
so it's going to be a dogfight. I'm looking forward to seeing these defenses go at it, and then Lamar and Goff.
Nice.
Be a great
I like
matchup.
it. I
That's
can't
true.
believe we're even talking about the Detroit
Well, we
Lions right
are.
now.
It's going to be a
Well,
close
we are.
game.
Crazy.
It's
Who
going to
do
be a
you got?
close, tough game, man.
Who do you
I
got?
like
B?
it. I got Mahomes and Herbert.
Ooh.
I think that's the
Ooh.
matchup there. I think that's the matchup. You know, Herbert had his what he bruised his ribs that last time they played, and
Yeah,
had to
still,
put the tough Kevlar. He was tough as nails, man. I thought he was bleeding internally, but jeez. I
man.
mean,
Throw a seam route. He threw a seam route after the bruised ribs in that
it
game.
was
That was
insane.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Herbert and Mahomes
Zero
are
question around here.
yeah, I think that's going to be a phenomenal matchup, and I'm really looking forward to that. I would have had Herbert in my top 5, but I'll probably put him in my top 5 after he lights up the Cowboys tonight. So
Yeah, yeah.
Ooh. Oh, he's going to light up the Cowboys too.
he's going to throw for about
I've
500.
got the same thing as Mark. I like Mark being on our show. You can come back anytime.
Thanks, man.
I'm extremely interested in this Lions Baltimore game. Now I'm from Chicago, so I'm a Bears fan as well.
Okay.
But I enjoy the Lions are the only other team in that division that I would ever say I hope good for them. Not the Vikings, not the Packers, But the Lions, because they've been the lovable losers forever, they had Barry Sanders, which probably the number one running back that we've ever seen from a
My
talent standpoint.
favorite, hands
Right.
down.
Ever.
Matthew Stafford, love him as a quarterback guy. Love Matthew Stafford.
Yep.
So they've had good players. They've just never, and here they are, right? 2 years off, or last year they were on Hard Knocks. I think we all fell in love with the Lions.
Yep.
Now they get to go, and this is a prove it game for me, for both teams. Like, Lions, prove to us that you are who we think you are. And Lamar, put this team on your back and beat a quarterback that's playing at an elite level that's coming into town. So that's what I want to see. I want to see two quarterbacks play at the top of their game. Jared right now, to me, is playing the best quarterback in the NFC. So this is a great matchup. Heck, this could be a Super Bowl preview if Lamar is who everyone says he is. What do you think about that?
Wow.
Ooh. Woo!
I'm
Those
not.
49ers.
Throw some fire on that. Get you a marshmallow, roast some marshmallow, make a s'mores, whatever you want to do. But that can happen. That could absolutely happen. Well,
There's
man,
another one.
There's
another one we're not talking about.
What's that?
Huh?
So there's another one we're not talking about.
Ooh.
Tua versus Hurts.
Yes.
How does Jalen Hurts respond?
That's a great quarterback.
That Dolphins defense isn't ideal, and it plays right into his game. And can Tua face a top 3 defense and do the exact same thing he's been doing? Can that happen? I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough, man.
Buffalo.
It's
Tua
tough.
gets rid of the ball. Tua doesn't
University.
hold on to the ball. As long as he doesn't
Pressure
hold on
bust
to the
pipes,
ball,
though. You get to Tua, it's a wrap.
He got rid of the ball. I mean, he tried to versus Buffalo.
Well, Buffalo, we had a bad game. I mean, we just chalked that up to that's one of those weeks, right? Miami
Is
has
it?
been owned by Buffalo.
Huh?
What's that?
You said Miami just had a bad game?
Yeah, they've been owned by Buffalo.
Why?
I think he turned the ball over, buddy, and they capitalized on it.
I mean, Jalen likes to turn the ball over. He's got 7 picks to 7 touchdowns, so he's not exactly.
He's also 23-2 as a starter in regular season games.
Yeah,
Give the kid a break.
They have the best offensive line in football. They have
Best defensive line in football.
Best defensive line, best offensive line. It's hard to lose when you have those two things.
Indeed. A lot of grace there, I suppose.
We'll see. I'm excited for that game. I think that's going to tell a lot about those two teams in general.
The fact that the NFL allowed Jalen Carter to be drafted by the Eagles is criminal. I don't think that should have happened. I think they should have said, "No, sir, you cannot draft that guy. That's an unfair advantage." The Bears really screwed the pooch on that. They should have stayed where they were and taken their guy, and they didn't. Yeah. So they messed it up for the entire NFC East. We appreciate you.
They did indeed.
So we're going to get into this, Brandon. Again, Mark, thank you so much for taking the time, coming out here and talking with us. This has been an honor. This is my first time getting to meet you, so it's been great. It's been a lot of fun. You're welcome back anytime. We got to get him on the couch coach with us. That would be fun. A lot of good football talk there. But we're gonna wrap this up with Brandon's fantasy segment. He's been on fire this year. He's telling us who to start, who to stay away from, who was good last week. So, Brandon, you told me that you've been on fire. So let's hear it.
I literally hit on all of my picks except the ones that set. Sam Howell did throw for 150 yards and 3 touchdowns versus the Falcons. Didn't see that coming, right?
No.
But outside of that, I think I was pretty effective. The guys I got starting, okay, I'm going to say Mahomes versus the Chargers. I just think it's one of those games. I think he has Mahomes just finding ways to win. And that is probably the most impressive thing for him this season. He's not statistically wowing you, even though he did throw for over 300 yards against the Broncos, just like everybody else does. I got Allen versus the Patriots, right? I think Allen, I think BB, man, I think it's time, brother.
It's time to go.
The game has passed you by. Has it? I don't know. But I know Josh Allen's rolling. He's feeling himself a little bit. Then you got my man Jalen Hurts. How do you bounce back, Mr. Hurts, versus the Dolphins? Dolphins haven't been one of the best teams in passing or rushing right now. So I think he's going to have a good game, a typical Jalen Hurts game. He's averaging about 28 fantasy points a week. Thank you, Jalen, because you're one of my starting quarterbacks on my big 3. Sit him. Tua versus the Eagles. I don't see it. I don't know, man.
Okay.
That's just a tough. That's a tough defensive line, man. The trenches win. If you can get a hold, if you can get pressure on guys like Tua and Brock Purdy, man, I don't know. They rely on that system and that timing. If they throw off timing, can he ad lib a little bit? He can, but I'm not sure if he gets away from that Philly defense. I just don't see it. Also, Kirk Cousins, you're about to go to purgatory, brother, versus the Niners. We are playing no games. If you think for 1 second that Kirk Cousins is going to light us up, I don't see it, especially with JJ out. And that's all I got to say.
And that's all you got to say about that?
That's
Do you have
it. Drop
anything
the
to
mic.
add to that, Mark? Are you a fantasy guy at all? Do you have anything
No,
to refute?
I tried. I'm not a fantasy guy, but I still enjoy,
You
this
know,
part,
I
hearing
was a
about.
fantasy guy until we were sitting around at a draft one night, Cowboys versus Seattle, and I drafted Tony Romo. And 10 minutes later, Tony Romo was on the turf in 2016, and that's the day that I
You,
decided I
you,
was
you
never going to play
retired.
fantasy again. Yes, I retired.
You retired.
I
And that's the
retired
day he
when
started hating Dak forever.
Yes, yes. Dak never had a chance. Dak would have had to win at least 2 Super Bowls for me to be a fan at that point, because I felt like when
So
Tony was
wrong.
healthy, Tony should have played again, and I'll always feel that. And maybe we can. Your face tells me maybe we needed to debate that one day. I don't know.
No, I
No.
am a Tony guy. They would have won the Super Bowl if Tony played. Goodness.
Oh, Mark. You know what? You're the new co-host of this show.
I think we all like Romo, bro. Stop.
Oh
I
my
just give
goodness.
you I just give you shit. You're good.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. Well, hey, that's going to do it for this week's QB Huddle podcast. A little bit longer than usual, but when you have someone like Mark Clayton on the show, you just go for as long as you can. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment. Keep an eye out for the Couch Coach, which will be dropping this Thursday or Friday. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to our incredible producer, Marcus Watson. Thanks again to Mark Clayton for taking your time to come out here and be with us
Thank you,
this
brother.
morning.
Thank
Can't
you.
wait to see this blowing up on your socials, our socials.
Yep.
See you next week on the QB Huddle podcast.
Go Ravens.